So welcome guys, welcome to this podcast way, and this is a very interesting video for you. I am Arun and now watching you are a new podcast on a new topic. There is job is important, is your goal is important, what's your life goals? Anybody someone asks to you what your goals, what you aiming to, where you reach, but exactly you are right thing about this. We have all been there. You are sitting at your desk. Then let's assume, close your eyes and let's assume we are on the scenario. You are sitting at your desk or standing in a meeting and you are faced with a choice. Your goals, whether it's a hitting sales target, because in the job, whose person is doing a job, he is targeted to complete by daily basis, as a weekly basis, as a monthly basis, on a yearly, on an annum basis. So winning an election, protecting your team is right in front of you, but to reach it you have to do something that's feel wrong. You have to twist the truth, ignore a cow rocket's mistake, or stop on someone else to get ahead. In that moment you are not just an employee, you are what Niccolò Machiavelli is called, a servant on the goal. Exactly. In today's video we are talking about on this important topic in a podcast way. So firstly we are giving an interesting intro who are hooking you. Machiavelli's philosophy is famous for one main idea, and what is the result is the only thing that matters. Exactly, only result. Whether it comes how, that's matters, but not only focus on your work. He believed that if you are serving a leader of a cause, your job is not to be holy or kind. Your job is to be effective to him. A servant who refuses to ally to protect the mission is actually being selfish. Why? Because they are putting their own clean consciousness above the safety and success of the group. He viewed the world as dangerous place where bold people are often stepped by those who are willing to play dirty. So, however, just you think what I am telling you. However, is when we look at this through a human lens in your eyes and just see what not your eye, only for not your eyes, only just what you understand, a massive problem appears. If a servant decides that the goal is the only thing that matters, they slowly turns themselves into a tool. A hammer doesn't have feeling. Exactly. Only hammer you can carry, and you just pointing on a nails and just throw out. It's just hits the nail. What I'm saying. But humans are not hammers. Exactly. You just understand. Humans are not hammers. Humans are not also robots who does only 24/7 work. Exactly. So now when we lie, when we cheat, when we manipulate to reach a correct goal, we carry that weight home with us. Exactly. Because some guilty feel in our heart is always remaining. We see it in the eye of our family and feel it when we try to sleep at night. Exactly. If the original person is a very good, nice person, have never dreamed about that, how can I reach? What's the destination? From the other way, other shortcuts. So it's very wrong, and it's one type of nightmare of this person. The real danger of Machiavelli's world is not just that people become evil, but that they become hollow. If you spend your whole life being tricky to get results for your boss or your company, you eventually lose the ability to be honest with yourself. Exactly. In today's generation, mostly think that's you might win the trophy, get the promotion, or save the project, but you lose the trust of the people around you. And in the long run, trust is the only things that keep a societies or business all together. So, is it correct for a servant prioritize the goals above LLC in a moment of extreme pressures? Perhaps, but as a way of life, it's a trap. The most successful people in a history are not just those who hit their targets. They are those who reach their goals without destroying any characters. Because he know his self-esteem is very important than his goals. Okay, because at the end of the day, a goal is just a destination, but your integrity, your humanity, and you being the nice, and you had a nice, you grounded, you have to stand on for rest of your life. So you just understand what I'm saying. In today's podcast, where our anchor name is John, and guest name who telling his answer in podcast is named Rudra, telling about on this conversation is servant, who's a servant, and is their mega goals. Okay, so John, Rudra, let's say on ideas, what of the servant? When we say servant today, we mean your employee, an assistant, or even a politician serving the public. Machiavelli basic say is if your boss or your country needs you to do something bad to get good results, you should do it without blinking. Is not just a recipe for becoming villain. Now Rudra says, it looks like right, but Machiavelli's logic is some very simple and very different from this. He used the example of a doctor. Sometime a doctor had to cut off a person's arms, a bad action exactly, to save their life because his intention is a good goal. To Machiavelli, a servant who refused to do the bad thing is like a doctor who is too nice to perform surgeries because the doctor wanted to kind this the patient. Okay, so just because this answer comes from Rudra, John is something thinking about in those. So Rudra, in his mind, being nice is actually being or being cruel is because you let the goal fail. Rudra says exactly. He thinks that if you are servant, your personal feeling don't matter. You are a tool. If the goal is keeping to city safe and you have to lie to the group people to prevent a riot, Machiavelli says lie. If you don't lie and the riot happens and people is injured, that's on your or your honestly killed people. So that's time only focus on how to be safe people, how to be give him protection, give him life protections as compared to you are saying truth or your truth you are saying lie. Because if your lie save any person's life, so that was important. Now John will understand what Rudra will can talk, what Rudra will try to telling us. So now John say, okay, I get the logic, but here's the catch. Who decide if the goal is correct? If I'm servant to a leader who wants to do something selfish and I use Machiavelli's rules to help him, I'm just helping and a bad person. What are you thinking about, Rudra? Rudra said, and it's the biggest hole in the theory. Machiavelli assumed the goal is always stability. Exactly. Goal is always is like a stability or the good of the state. But in the real world, because we are living in the real world, so we are talking about the real world, every example also in the real world, goal change. Sometimes the goal is just to make the boss more money or keep the boss in power. And it's a reality. If a servant think the goal is the only thing that matters, they stop asking, should we doing this is at all? They just ask, how do I win? This is why we see big companies collapse, because people were so focused on the goal of hitting the numbers that they stopped caring if they were cheating or hurting people to get there. Exactly what I say. I think you understand, John. Okay, so let's the big question. Is it correct for a servant to put the goal above everything, Rudra? Rudra, something take a time and gave answer of John questions. If you are talking about survival, John, so it's the most important thing, like in a war or a massive crisis. Most people actually agree with Machiavelli. We want our leaders and their servants to do whatever it takes to keep us safe. But in everyday life, in our jobs, in our friendships, no, if you treat every goal like a war, you end up because with no friends and no trust you have. If a servant is always tricky to get results, eventually you know this, the leader won't trust the servants. It's very important because it's not a war. Because we always compare goal to war. It's different perception. War is always kind to one thing, only result will happens, result will come, result will not come. We are victor, we are victory, we are get victory and we are lose it. But on goals, we try to reach the destination, but eventually we also consider our relationship, our friendship and our everyday lives who is connected to with us. Okay, the whole system breaks. Okay, so John asked next question. Okay, it's like a short-term win but a long-term loss. Rudra, perfect way. Machiavelli is a king of the short-term win. He can show you how to win to battle today, but he doesn't really show you how to build a world where people actually want to live together. Anchors understand what Rudra says and something thinking about this and trying to questioning based on this relevance. So he is trying to next question. If you were hiring a servant at Rudra, an assistant or a partner, you would want them to be a mechanism. You are agree with this? Rudra takes a time and something takes a time and then laughing and say absolutely not. I had two afraid they had served me right now in the traffic to help them reach their next goals. I think we need a little bit of Machiavellian realism. We should be naive, but we need a lot more heart than it recommends. Okay, anchor next question is wisdom and hearts. Okay, good. Hard to balance, but That's the work, Rudra. Thanks for making this is so clear, because somebody people is not clear in the whole life. And Rudra is praising anytime zone. I'm very happy to meet you. So now I'm Arun. We are talking about this. What is the final verdict of this proper conclusion and proper podcast? What do you understand? So in my thought, what can I do for you and what can I tell for this verdict? Just imagine, as we look back to the shadow Machiavellianism cast over our list, we have to ask exactly what is the true cost of winning. Exactly, what is the true cost? What do you sacrifice for getting the winning? What do you sacrifice to reach the destination? What do you sacrifice to don't eat because you want to reach the destination? And you get an answer is a very verdict, very broader, because something is not, and it's a very thing because you will sacrifice. Machiavelli would argue that at the end of the day, history only cares about the winners, and is it reality? He would say that the servant who saved the kingdom through a lie is a hero, while the servant who lost the kingdom telling the truth is a fool. It is a cold, hard logic that treats life like a game of chess, because only this is statement, because Machiavelli says that, though, so somebody says, okay, means king are telling a lie, it's right. King are telling a truth is also right. But somebody person is telling a lie in his personal life, in everyday life, so he's wrong. But he tells truth on public and all over, and he faced a very worst result of their telling the truth. So he also right. How can I this possible? So Machiavelli is also is understanding and telling is why he comes from me, because it's a reason. Just know, just you follow the path. Your life becomes a series of calculation. You stop seeing people as human beings and start seeing them as the obstacles or tools. But there is a deep flaw this way of living. Okay, if you're a servant who believes the goal is everything, you eventually become replaceable. Exactly. If you have no personal values and no live to serve the end, they're just a machine, and machine are discarded on the moment a fast or ship-on comes along. Very broader features on machine, but on a one time and at the end of the day, machine will replace from another machine or another tool. When you sacrifice, you means your honesty and kindness. For the end of the result, you are trading away the only thing that actually belongs to you, and your character also. So the correct way for a servant to act is not to be blind follower of a goal, but to be a guardian of the process. A truly great servant, whether in a job, family, or government, knows that how we get there is just important as where we are going. If you reach the mountain top or have left a trail of a broken dust behind you, the view won, but rather a climb. You will find yourself standing alone at peak, surrounded by people who are just Machiavellianism as you are waiting for their turn to push off you. Okay, so hope so this video is very helpful for you, and this video is taught you something new, because goal is very important. I know, you know, and all audience know, but exactly what cost we are paying for this. Hope you understand, and hope you understand today podcast, and anything is mistaken, I just sorry for this, and meet to next video on next tomorrow on a new topic. Bye.